morning. You're listening to Dr. Heather Williamson, the Leadership Doc, host of Talking Leadership, and I'm glad you're with me this early Monday morning because I have in the studio a really good friend of mine, Angela Roisten. So Angela is actually the Vice President of Financial Success Wellness Program at the Virginia Credit Union. And we have known each other for how many years now?
Wow. Double digits for sure.
I know, double digits.
Double digits
yes.
for sure.
We've known each other professionally, and then for a while there, I was doing a lot of coaching within your organization.
You were my executive coach,
yes.
and you were a really good executive coach.
Thank you very much.
Shameless plug.
I'll take all the shameless plugs.
Take all the plugs.
So I have Angela actually in the studio because I thought she would be a great resource for those who really need some assistance in building relationships to help grow the business, because you're excellent at that.
Well, thank you. I didn't pay her to say that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You are.
I appreciate that.
And so I want to talk to you about, how do you develop a positive workplace culture, within the department that you lead and manage at the Virginia Credit Union? That
is a wonderful, wonderful question. For me, building a positive culture, you need to offer, up experiences that people want to be a part of.
Right.
I mean, I can remember almost 15 years ago, when I applied for the Virginia Credit Union, and I walked out of that interview and I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to work for this organization. I really love this organization. And when they called me and offered me the job, I took a pay cut, but I didn't really care because it was important to me to be a part of that cooperative. It was important to me to be a part of that culture. So you'll see that in individuals. People will say, I love this organization. Or you'll see an employee that's representing your organization so well. And it's evident that they feel really good about being a part of that organization. My CEO and president says this all the time. Our employees are the core of our organization's success. And I'll add to that and say, our employees are the core of our organization's success or failures. So as leaders, we got to sell the mission.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that I'm a part of something meaningful. I believe that I'm contributing to a common purpose. So I'm very intentional about reiterating that with my team so that they also feel like they have a vested interest in being a part of that positive culture as well.
Yeah. And I know when I was working with the credit union, doing executive coaching and leadership training for about 6 years.
Yes.
It was a while.
Love you. I needed it. So.
And you've been promoted since then, so that's all good?
Yes, I'm telling you, always get an executive coach. It's a huge thing. And it's worth every investment, for sure.
And yes, it pays huge dividends later.
It really does. So,
but I know when I worked, inside the Virginia Credit Union, the culture was amazing.
Yes.
And you have an amazing CEO.
Oh, I do.
With Chris Shockley, and I just, I loved every minute because the people were great and everybody felt like they were part of the organization in a very valued way.
Yeah, I mean, when I started, I was like, is this real? It didn't seem real to me because I came from the dark side. But, going into the credit union, I was like, is this real? And it really is. I mean, it's my credit union. So not only am I an employee, I'm a member.
Yeah.
And it's my credit union. And you feel like it's your credit union. And my God, I just have to say this. Chris Shockley is an amazing leader. I don't know how he remembers everybody's name. Until this day, he won't. I mean, he's people first, and he really means it.
Yeah.
And I'm just honored to be a part of that organization. They're never getting rid of me. I'm never leaving. I love it.
You'll just die there.
I'll just die there. That's exactly right. I feel good about it. I love it. I love every bit of it.
And you truly do, because I've known you for a while.
Yes.
So how do you inspire others to kind of, have that same passion and drive?
Hey, I will just beat it into them until it's contagious. But I honestly don't have to do that much because when you're a part of the organization, you see it all around you, right? And people get excited about that. It's contagious. If you're around doom and gloom, that's contagious. But if you're around people that are pumped up, that are like evangelists, spreading the good word about the credit union, they're like, wow, It's a contagious thing. So I just try to be that person that's like, all the cool kids are doing it. All the cool kids are with this organization.
Peer pressure.
And peer pressure, but it's authentic.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's authentic. I really believe in this organization. And I really get kind of upset if you don't believe it with me. It's like sales. You know, I mean, we have to sell the mission. We have to sell the mission, but we also have to come across as authentic. We have to be transparent about it, and either you're with it or you're not. But 100% of the time, you're with it. I mean, it's the Virginia Credit Union. I'm not just saying that. I really just it's transformed my life. I love it.
So, what are some of the challenges in creating that amazing culture that you have experienced?
Ooh, Dr. Heather. Okay, so one of the challenges for me is that silent employee. That scares me. It scares me to death.
Because you're not getting feedback.
Yeah, it scares me to death. It's like, you know, if I'm dealing with a silent employee, I'm like, they're not comfortable to express themselves. Maybe they feel like they're not in a safe environment to express themselves. And that's really scary to me, because that quiet employee could be that overachieving person, that person that steps outside the box, that risk taker. But if they don't feel safe to express themselves, that's kind of on me. Like, I got to take a little bit of ownership of that. You know, I'd rather hear criticism and say, you're not doing a good job, than hear nothing at all. So that's a huge challenge for me, because a silent employee could eventually be the quiet quitter.
Exactly.
And we don't want the quiet quitter. We want to save them.
And I would say, just, you know, from my experience looking in, it's really the people that come from outside a credit union environment.
Yes. It's different.
It's totally different.
Night and day. Yeah.
And you know, they may not have had a great experience at their last employment, hence maybe why they left. And they're thinking that that's their only experience, so they're going to maybe experience the same thing within the credit union.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you do feel like an outsider, right? And a lot of people that come from a different sort of industry coming into the credit, it is new, it is different, it is just this cultured center environment, and you do essentially feel like an outsider at first, but those come with advantages. I mean, for me, I look at being an outsider as an advantage, because you can uncover more opportunity to add value coming from the outside than being a part of it. So,
especially with ideas,
especially with ideas. Yeah, we welcome innovation. We welcome ideas to grow. We're like share your ideas. It only makes us stronger. So, you know, that's my challenge. I don't like those silent employees, basically because I'm loud. I'm talking all the time, and I don't want to fill in the blanks. I want you to talk. Like, tell me I'm a terrible leader, or tell me I hate this idea. Tell me something.
So how do you get them to actually talk?
Well, I tell them, listen, I want to hear what you have to say. I challenge them. Look, the next time we have a meeting, I'm encouraging you to raise your hand. Ask one question, right? Engage in the conversation. Baby steps, right? But say something. People value what you say, but it won't help if you don't say anything at all. And so I just challenge them, tell me something. Tell me one bad thing. Tell me one great thing. Say something. And once I get them going, you know, it's all about encouraging them, right? And empowering them. Because maybe they're feeling like, oh, my ideas are not going to be, I don't know, people are going to turn their eyes on it. But if you'll never know if you don't share. It's like you never want to be in a wondering space whether or not an idea could have or should have been spoken up. You got to share it. And I think the Virginia Credit Union is extremely good about providing a safe environment for people to express themselves and to be innovative. And there's a lot of organizations that are not like that, unfortunately. They go by certain rules. They have a certain process, but we're all about growth so that we can provide and serve our members. And so part of that is idea sharing.
Yes.
And so it's encouraged. So when you're quiet, I'm like, oh my goodness, what's the matter? Speak up.
Idea sharing without the threat or perception that you're going to be put down, ridiculed,
or shunned.
I know.
Exactly right, Dr. Heather. Nobody wants to feel that way, because you do it once and they feel that way once. Yeah. They're going to shut down.
Yeah. Or if you never use their ideas. If you don't use their ideas, then give a reason why.
Why? Yeah, I love the why factor
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a person that's like, well, how come?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me why, and if that why makes sense, and sometimes it doesn't make sense, but at the end of the day, I feel good about sharing that idea, and you never know.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a timing issue. Like, did you ever, I never thought in a million years that the Virginia Credit Union would ever encourage remote or working remotely.
Right.
That's just not a thing. We like to show up at the credit union, but then that big C word came.
Yeah.
And so we had to quickly pivot.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And part of that was we had to work remotely. And oh my God, the IT, the entire team, they did a phenomenal job of just transforming working from the office and at home. But back then, if I was an employee and said, hey, can we just 75% of our organization just kind of work at home and not show up?
Yeah.
That would have been a hard no. It's just, that's not our makeup. But, you fast forward to today, that's totally relevant, right? And there's a lot of folks that are even more productive when they work remote. So don't ever feel afraid to share your ideas. Even if it's not, the timing isn't right away. Mm-hmm. Don't be ashamed because that might come back around.
You never know.
Think about it. You never know.
I know.
Right?
I know.
You gotta stop me. I will ramble all this time when I talk about my credit union. I'm sorry.
I know she's obsessed.
I am so obsessed.
So I know, we had talked about this years ago, but listening skills.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It's so important to be a really good listener. And in order to be a really good listener, you have to practice active listening. But you also have to remove the distractions that are going to tempt you to not listen.
Oh. So look. That was one of my coaching from you, Dr. Heather. And I'm still developing listening skills. Mm-hmm. I literally have to be intentional in every interaction to practice active listening skills. I literally plan it in my head. Angela, don't pick up your phone.
Yeah, right.
Listen without judging.
Don't be looking around.
Don't be looking around. Try not to interrupt. Mm-hmm. And oh my goodness, don't try to solve problems. Sometimes people just want you to listen.
Right.
They just want to be heard. Mm-hmm. And I have to remind myself of that because I sometimes like to solve problems.
That is your makeup. That is your makeup.
But, I feel like the deeper the relationship is so much better. And part of that is just sometimes shutting up and just listening to what people have to say. Mm-hmm. And so I literally have to plan that out in my head in every interaction.
Do you... You have to write yourself a little note.
I do. It's the thing. It's a constant thing, because half the time I'm listening, but I also want to share my ideas, but
because you have a lot of enthusiasm, yeah. You're highly energetic, and for some people that might shut them down.
Oh, most definitely. I've had people say, "You're at a 10."
You're like
you're two out of 5.
You're too much.
I'm too much. I'm too much. But I mean, to me, it beats the alternative. But it's also important to listen to people and understand the best way to effectively communicate with them. And if I feel like I'm giving too much, then I will turn the volume down a little bit. Just so that I can cultivate that deeper relationship with that individual. And part of that is listening, and understanding that individual and understanding, how they like to be communicated.
That's that whole DISC assessment.
It really is.
Which we did that.
You did. I love it.
Yes,
I love it. I got plenty of Dr. Heather stories of how she's been so instrumental in my growth.
But I think that you are very much accurate in that communication obviously is the number one challenge in organizations because sometimes we over communicate, but maybe the right information isn't being communicated.
So critical.
Or we don't communicate enough. I've personally experienced that. And it's really hard to find what that happy medium is.
It
and
is.
Sometimes you have to kind of go, all right, I'll send an email, I'll do a blast, company blast, maybe put it in a newsletter, follow up with with your team, do that one-on-one. Did you have any questions about what I sent out earlier? It's kind of figure out knowing your people.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta know your audience.
Yeah,
and you gotta know how to talk to them because it's not a one size fits all approach. It just isn't. Mm-mm. A lot of people love email. I like picking up the phone. Tell me what I need to know because I want to clarify that we're crystal clear on what I need to understand and what I need to know. But then you have my children that are like, can you just text me? So it's honestly, if you want to capture an audience and you want it to resonate, you got to figure out how they like to be communicated with.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing, and it changes all the time.
It does.
Right?
It does.
It changes all the time.
Making sure that message is received the way it was intended.
Exactly. It's all about crystal clear. I had someone tell me, clear is kind.
Mm-hmm.
Clear is kind. Yeah. My director said that. So I was like, that's good.
I like
Be
that.
clear.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
So what do you think it takes to be a good leader? I mean, you've been in management and now you're vice president for a while.
Yeah.
So you've had the opportunity to experience all those nuances of
And
being
I'm still growing.
a brand new manager.
Yeah.
To someone, who's more seasoned now.
Yeah. I think it takes a lot if it's something that doesn't come natural to you. But for me, I think relationship building is the core of being a leader. I mean, I have to be a cheerleader. I got to be a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be a referee. It's something about being on the sidelines and cheering for the people and celebrating them when they are successful, but also recognizing them when they don't do well. So, not only am I a cheerleader with my team, I'm also a coach. I gotta coach them to be their best selves, just like you coached me to be my best self back in the day, and you still coach me. But also as a referee, it's important that my team understands their performance and whether or not their performance aligns with the organization. But none of that matters, and none of that works if I don't have a relationship with you. Like, I'm not an effective coach if I don't know how to effectively lead you.
Right.
Do you like ice cream?
I do like ice cream.
What's your favorite ice cream?
So, it's a lemon gelato. I know. And I got it in Stanton at this Italian gelato place, and I love it.
Well, what's your least favorite
My
ice cream?
least favorite would be like any of those cookie ones.
Oh, I love cookie stuff.
No,
okay,
I don't
well,
like
let's just
cookie
say you're
stuff.
having like this really bad day, or you're having a great day and you want like some comfort food. So I'm going to go to the grocery store, and what kind of ice cream am I going to pick up for you?
Strawberry is good.
But I'm going to pick up your favorite.
Lemon.
Because you just told me that was your favorite. Why wouldn't I pick up anything with cookies in it?
I know.
Why wouldn't I do that? Because you don't like it.
I don't like it.
Don't you?
I'm not going to appreciate you because you weren't listening to me.
Exactly, but don't you love it when people get you?
Yeah.
I love it when people get me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Virginia Credit Union says, we got you. We don't just say we got you. We say it because we get you. And in order to get you, we have to cultivate that relationship with you so that we can be effective when we're with you through your financial journey to be financially confident. It's just something about people getting me. I want to do business with people that get me, right?
Yeah.
I want to hang around people that get me. I want leaders to lead me that get me. And I want to be a leader that gets you. So that's why I say relationship building is at the core of leadership, because I want to know all about you so that I know how to be a good leader to you and a good friend to you. And you can't do that if you can't build relationships.
And you actually say something that really resonates with me, and that is that you're not looking out for your own agenda or the agenda of the organization. You are looking out for what's best for the member.
Exactly.
Within a credit union, it's a member. Within your business, it's a customer or client.
Right.
Yeah.
It's important to us because the members are the boss of us. I know I hate to say it, but they're the owners. When you become a member of the credit union, you're an owner of the credit union. We do what is in the best interest of you. And how do we know that if we don't know you? That is so important. Like, you asked me, like, what scares you the most, what challenges? Also strangers. Like, I don't like to be in a space with strangers very often, so I'm jumping in. Hey, I'm Angela. Who are you? So that we can get past that moment. And I do that. And I do that because, it's important to me to know you.
Yeah.
That's the best way. That's the best level of communication. Once you have a relationship, everything else falls in line. You're an effective communicator, right? You're able to coach that individual. You're able to have those tough conversations, and you're able to kind of guide those conversations. And all of that is developed through relationships. Yeah, it's like so critical. It's so important.
Which also, when you do that, you build trust.
Yes.
And I know you see the sign behind me.
Yes. Magnetic trust.
Yes. Which actually Chris Shockley is a contributor in that.
I know, I love that.
Because he's an amazing leader, and I had to have him, talk about one of the areas of trust. But
Trust
it's
is
true.
important.
It is so true, because if you don't have trust, then you're going to lose members, you're going to lose customers, people are not going to be happy.
Yeah.
You're going to get a bad rep because they're going to complain on you on social media.
And people tend not to forget right away about things that we don't do right. Things that we do well, they forget that sometimes. But oftentimes when you leave a bad taste in someone's mouth, it's a scar. It sticks with them. So we try to avoid that at all costs. And it does come with trust. And I trust our leader when he makes decisions and he brings us in on it. I trust that he's making the right decision. And that's extremely important. And over my career, I couldn't say that about a lot of organizations. And then there would be times where I'm out and about and people say, "Where do you work?" I'm like, I'm proud to say that I am a member and that I am an employee of the credit union. It speaks volumes because we have built such a positive reputation in our community. We are servant leaders and we serve our members and we love it. We love it.
So how would people get in touch with you, Angela? If they are like, "Oh man, I really love what Angela's saying. I want to get in touch with her."
Oh my gosh, you ready to talk? Carve an hour. You can email me at angela.roisten@vacu.org. You can come by the office, go to any of the branches. Email me. Let's talk. Let's connect, because I want to learn from others. I mean, I'm not going to stop growing. I'm going to grow and grow and grow to the day I die. So I'd love to hear any of your feedback or opinions about leadership, something that can be added to my life so that I can apply it to my team, because my team is so important to me. And it's so important to me that my team is happy, that they have all the resources and tools that they need to be successful, because they make me look good. I'm nothing without them. So you can reach out to me anytime. Let's share ideas. I love sharing. or reach out to
read the book. You can get on Amazon. One other thing, what do you think is probably, in your mind, one of the most important things in being a leader? Hey, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if you were going to give advice for somebody who is maybe struggling in that leadership role, what piece of advice would you have for them?
Well, I mentioned this a while ago. There are times where people want to share ideas with you. And oftentimes, it may not be of value to you at first, because maybe you've been a leader for a very long time. I think it's critical as leaders, active listening skills, right? But B, just understand when people come to you with ideas or share ideas with you. Just understand that even though it may not be important to you as a seasoned leader, it can be extremely important to that up-and-coming leader. And as leaders and mentors, it's important for us to uplift, to empower, to recognize those ideas, even when we don't see the value right away. Your words, whether positive or negative, is going to stick with that individual looking to grow within the organization. So your delivery is super critical, especially when if I'm coming to you, that means
I value you.
I value your opinion, right? So those moments are super critical, and sometimes we lose sight of that, but you really need to understand that your words matter to that individual's growth. They can either stop trying to grow or continue to grow. And if they're coming to you for advice, empower that person. Even when you don't see the value of it, recognize that individual. Celebrate that individual for even coming to you to do that, because let me tell you, it makes all the difference here. It does. I don't even know if I answered that question right.
You did.
But I look at it as
it's your experience, and I think what you just shared is so valuable. Yeah. Because if you want to be a leader, some people say, "Oh, I have an open door policy."
Do you though?
I know.
Define that, right?
Yes. Yeah. Just because your door's open doesn't mean you have an open door policy.
Yeah. Are you going like this while I'm talking to you?
I know.
Like, are you?
Yeah.
Here. Are you? Right. Are you giving me 100%? So critical. It's like your children. Yeah. They have a whole bunch of crazy ideas, but you're like, "Oh, sweetheart, that is so great. Let's talk about that next year." here, but they're walking out that door with their head high. My mama likes it. You know, my daddy likes it. And, it may not turn around that year, but it's going to continue to have them feel this sense of motivation and drive to want to think about other things. But if I said, that's a horrible idea, don't ever think about that again. You think that person's going to think further in life? They're not. It's the power of your tongue. I know. It's so critical.
Yeah.
It's so critical.
Yeah. You can shut them down or you can lift them up.
You can lift them. Thanks for lifting me up, by the way, Dr. Heather, all those years ago. It is. It's critical. It really is. I hope I answered that question, but that is something near and dear to me that I want to be 100% for anybody that's asking me a question, because that just means they've thought of me as someone that could give valuable advice. And I don't want to shoot them down about it. And there's a way to do it. Even if it's not valuable, there's a way to have a discussion to encourage them to keep exercising their ideas and their innovation and their thoughts, right? It's just, and our organization does that well. We empower people, so.
I think that part of that encouragement for people to share ideas, even if you think that they're ridiculous. But like you said before, if you shut them down, then they're not going to come to you again, and they're not going to feel like that you're open. And just the missed opportunities to make, even if it's as small as your department or just another employee on the team, to be a better person.
Right. They think about those things, right? If they came to you, they're like, they thought about it. They thought, oh, they're going to love this idea. And then you go and shut them down. Oh, yikes. Be careful. Celebrate that they even thought of those ideas, and encourage them to continue to do those things. It's so important. Having cheerleaders. Coaches.
I know. Cheerleaders, coaches, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yes. So, we've talked a lot about creating that amazing culture where people want to come to work every day.
And not experiences.
I know, and not dread getting up in the morning. About active listening and making sure that you are really truly present in the conversation.
Most definitely,
And, how to empower those that you manage. So, and we share with me maybe one challenge that leading the team that you have, because you're all about getting out in the community.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is, kind of think of it as a sales role.
Yeah.
What is like the number one challenge that you've seen your team members experience in that sales role?
Well, I could go back to COVID. Like, we're still sort of in, we had to pivot right away. The core of our job was getting out and being in front of people.
Right.
And so when COVID hit, we quickly had to pivot, and I really, really had to be micro interested and involved in my team, because they're like, well, this is what I do every day, right? And so I guess the challenge right now is kind of encouraging the businesses that we work with to say, hey, we got to get back to normal. We got to sell this wellness program. We got to encourage these individuals that, life kind of still goes on. And that was a struggle. It has been a struggle for the last couple of years, but we're slowly getting there. But I gotta tell you, like, my team, they're all about some financial success at work. So, I think the most challenge, I would say, and I probably said 2 or 3 challenges, but the most challenge is trying to find time to do it all. And that's a whole other segment on time management. But,
I know, because you put a lot of hours in.
Yeah, we do. We do put a lot of hours in, and we love serving. We love serving our members and our organizations. And sometimes a lot of events come on at the same time, and you're like, yikes, I can't be everywhere at the same time. But we just work on ways to make sure we're serving them, even if we're not there, if we can't be there. So I think, and I know my team, they're like, that's my core. Like, I want to be there in person, but unless there's a clone system in place, they can't be. So they just have to quickly come up with ideas to make sure that they're still serving a purpose with maybe organizations that may be 4 hours out versus organizations that are like here. So that's their thing. They want to give themselves, but they just can't be stretched in 50 million different directions. And I get it. And if that's the worst challenge, that's okay. Yeah. I like that challenge. Hopefully it's not a challenge of I don't like what I do, but it's a challenge of I can't be every place at one time. And that's a good thing to have. It just means there's opportunity to expand the team.
Well, I'm really glad that you made time today
to be here. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm like, she must be mistaken. She knows I talk so much. She's going to have to shut me down, but it's an honor to be with you, Dr. Heather. Honor, honor, honor.
Well, thank you, Angela, for being in the studio today and sharing your experience as a leader within the community, because you do a lot in the community and also within the credit union.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. All right, so that's going to do it for us today. Thank you for listening to Talking Leadership with Dr. Heather Williamson, the Leadership Doc. And if you want to improve your leadership skills, then check out my website at transformationgroupllc.com. And then you'll see the services that we provide and that we offer. And until next time, have an amazing day. Bye.
Bye.
In this video, these leadership tips and strategies are sponsored by my company, Transformation Group. And in my company, I work with leaders just like you through individual leadership coaching sessions. And in these 1-hour sessions, we talk about strategies to help you develop the skills to overcome performance challenges. Whether that involves learning how to hold your employees accountable, delegating and empowering employees more effectively, spending time on tasks that really matter to your business, or communicating expectations consistently, or even better, lowering your stress. If this sounds like something you might be interested in, then there's an email address below in the description box of this video. So send me an email and we can then discuss if I'm the right fit for you. Until the next video, have a great day.